Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Liz, and this is Max.
Mary.
And Lulu. We just quit our jobs and left it all behind.
To find something bigger and better, because we were
called to the road.
This is the little dehumidifier we got, and it's all in its box and everything because it's going back to Amazon.
Thanks for coming back to another episode of Called to the Road. Last week we were reorganizing this, and I had the basket that is tucked in the corner here now, my gray basket, and it doesn't fit this way because the outside of the camper kind of curves up, doesn't it? Outside. So you get that curvature in this here, probably in these too, but anyways, so you lose a little bit of space there as it goes up. So I decided to just stick this in the corner long ways so it's taken up like that, and the stuff that we don't get to too often is stuff back there. We've got some paperwork here now. The iron we do use pretty much once a week, and then the camera here and some extra stuff that we're also thinking about getting rid of, but I'm going to keep them there just for a few weeks to see if we change our mind before I get rid of them. Some trays that we had beside our beds, and then Rob's stuff I've put here now, folded kind of like long ways, just because of the awkward position in here. So I'll fold it like this, and then I'll fold it so it's like that, like a typical square fold, and then I'll fold it in half again. So it's kind of like that, real nice and neat. And he uses these like every morning for VIP Kid, the orange ones. So I'm going to put that back in on the bottom there. And then he's got some stuff that he really doesn't ever get to too often, like some jackets and things back here. So voila. You know, we've learned in these few short months that in an RV you can picture something in your mind and have it all planned out, and not only does it not work, but what does work is the exact opposite of what you had planned. So just go right ahead and get in that flexible mindset where you're open to change if you're gonna live this life.
It's a disaster in here.
Yeah.
It's a disaster. We keep a really clean, tidy house.
We try to. We pride ourselves on having a place for everything and vacuuming 3 times a day, and
we're always tidying up. But right now,
you can't not always be tidying up in an RV.
Everything is not tidied up.
So here's the thing, guys. This morning, Rob got the urge to check the back of his closet for condensation.
We've been getting a lot of condensation on all of the windows, and
more specifically the window above the bed.
So I I've been looking online about what to do about that, and you know,
What's wrong,
dehumidifier, damp rid things. Those are. And I read something from a couple that said they were in Florida, which is where we are, and we're dealing with that in the winter, and they were horrified when they opened their closets and found moisture on the back wall and that their clothes had been wet for months, I think. But so when I pulled the bed out and started to tidy like I normally do, we noticed that the fitted sheet was wet up against the wall because the condensation from the big window
is
kind of
piling up in the bottom.
It has a little gutter to catch it. It's designed that way.
But I think it's definitely overflowed a couple times. And there's definitely moisture gathering on the walls.
So when we found that, I decided to look in the closet, thinking, we'll be all right. So my shirts, all of these shirts right here and more that are outside right now, get compressed and jammed up into that little closet, so it doesn't breathe very well. Well, I just kind of reached back in there. There was condensation on the back wall. So today has been about opening windows, opening all of this stuff up, which is what you're supposed to do to get rid of this problem.
Moisture.
So really, I need this closet to breathe better, and when we're going to bed at night, if we're running the heat and it's cold out and we're in this kind of climate, these all need to be opened so they can breathe, and that will fix the problem. At least help.
I suggested that we just knock the cabinets out and just have the thing there that
she
hangs.
wants it to hang like this over. That would
Not
drive
over the
me
bed,
insane.
no, on the sides of the bed. Anyways, so here's the thing. We did that. We're letting them air out. There's stuff everywhere. We also...
There's stuff everywhere.
we took the sheets off, so as you can see, the mattress and the mattress topper are drying out. Those are all the pillows. So that leaves us
We just
little
made
space
lunch.
to
There's
work
dishes
with.
everywhere. Sorry.
Could you please not talk over me when you're not even in the camera?
We survived another chilly night in Florida. And chilly nights here where we're at in Florida have been 35, 40. We have dipped down into like the high 20s since we've been here. But in this trailer we have a furnace, propane furnace to heat, but we also use a space heater which heats this thing up really quick. That really just did me in. This is going to be a mold city. We cannot do this. We cannot. Basically, we got to freeze at night. Just us emitting CO2 and breathing in here, 2 people and 3 dogs, that's creating moisture. So that moisture is getting locked in here and on everything. So I checked a bunch of YouTube videos. I read a whole bunch of things on forums. Everything I read said get a little dehumidifier, which we immediately ordered one, a small one about this big, and a lot of stuff I read about damp rid things, but that if you got a dehumidifier, that kind of was better than the damp rid things. And so we ran the dehumidifier, and sure enough, overnight it collected, I don't know, probably 8, 10, 12 ounces of water. So that was like, okay, this thing's working, but there was still condensation on all the windows and in the closet and everything. So we were like pulling everything out of the closet, laying it out to make sure it didn't get wet and moldy, all our shirts and sweaters and everything. We had to start opening this up, which I think this is a good idea anyway. You should leave these things open when you can to let some air flow through there. And it just wasn't working. We got about a week of cold nights where no heat, whatever, we were getting condensation in here when we woke up. And I said something to my great neighbor who helped us with the axle. Just was like, what do I do about this condensation? When he was teaching me how to tighten the lug nuts or something. He said, oh yeah, you got your vents open? I'm like, well, I open it in the bath. Like when we shower, I run the exhaust fan and stuff. And when I cook, and boil water, I open that exhaust fan. And he's like, no, I mean, you need to leave those open like 3/4 an inch all the time. And I was like, okay. He's like, no. He's like, this is something, I did the same thing. He's like, I freaked out when I started getting condensation all over this thing, and somebody told me, and I thought, well, isn't my heat all gonna escape? And whatever, I did it. You just leave it open a crack, and he's like, that took care of it. And he's like, don't worry about the little bit of heat that escapes from there. You can run your heater, you can run your space heater, and it'll take care of it. So first night, we just cracked this one above the bed, and cracked the one in the bathroom, about 3/4 of an inch. Woke up in the morning, not a drop of condensation. We just got up. We ran the heater in here all night, dry as a bone. I have not found one YouTube video, one bit of information anywhere on the internet that tells you this. And I feel like I have been nonstop looking up RV questions and answers for months. So I don't know if this is a hidden gem or this guy's some kind of secret treasure over here. But he's the best neighbor we could have asked for. Condensation problem gone. No condensation in the closets, no condensation on the walls, no condensation on any of the windows, and that dehumidifier that we paid for is back in its box, taped up and ready to go back to the Amazon, because the fix was as easy as cracking the things on the roof. And really that much heat doesn't escape. It's just allowing those gases and that moisture that gets trapped in here. I mean, it makes so much sense if you just think about it, that all of that moisture is just locked in here. If you just crack something and let it flow through, that's all it needs. Problem solved.
The, you know, it worked. It's good for small spaces. It probably would be good for a closet and in a really small trailer. It was collecting some water, but not very much. And you know, like what we said, we realized that all it was really doing was just kind of like drying our sinuses out. It wasn't the solution to the problem. So this is the Sevon mini dehumidifier, and maybe it will work for you. It's not working for us. I think it was about $35–40, and like I said, it does collect some water. I think probably because the fan isn't very powerful, it doesn't collect as much as it could. But we don't need it. So an important thing is to not have things you don't need that take up space in a small trailer. So it's going back.